Something that I like hearing about in podcasts is like insider stories. I was listening to My First Million, and I love that podcast. And Sean Purry, one of the hosts of the podcast, was talking about this social club in San Francisco, this elite social club in San Francisco that Elon Musk goes to, and all these famous founders go to, Leonardo DiCaprio goes to. And I thought it was very fascinating. And 2 nights ago, I went to this like celebrity party. I went to a celebrity party here in New York City. And since I liked the story on My First Million of this social club in San Francisco, I thought maybe some people would like this celebrity story, the celebrity party story that I have from 2 nights ago here in New York. And that's why I'm recording this. But also I think it's a pretty inspiring story because my friend threw he had a birthday party. He rented out this club here in New York City, this rooftop club in New York City with inspiring views, like really crazy view of the Empire State Building. You can see it from my Instagram on edward.builds. Edward.builds, that's my Instagram. You can see the picture. And there were all these famous people who showed up to his birthday party in this club that he rented out with an open bar. So many famous people. He had Ja Rule, who's a pretty famous rapper, give a performance. I saw this comedian who I've seen a bunch of times. This guy Chris Red. He's just hanging out in the middle of the room dancing. Sherry Shepherd, who's a pretty big TV host, she was there. All these different. Aubrey O'Day performed. Justina Valentine performed. Like all these pretty big people performed. And I met the guy who was throwing this party. His name is Josh McBride. I met him 12 years ago when he was just starting his career. And he was throwing birthday parties then too, but he wasn't renting out clubs. And he didn't have open bars. He was like, "Hey, me and some friends are going to this place for my birthday. You want to come?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I would go and I would get my own drinks and hang out with him and like his 5 friends. And every year his birthday parties would increase in size. Let me tell you, he's an actor, and I met him when I was in college, and we had a TV show. I studied studio TV production in college in Boston, and we were making a TV show for one of our classes, and we needed an actor for it. And Josh, starting his career, he's like, "Okay, this is good experience. Let me see if I can be a host on this college TV show." And we interviewed a bunch of people, and we chose Josh because he was friendly, and he followed up, and we liked him. And then, like a week after shooting that TV show, I was volunteering at this wine event called Wine Riot, where I was doing marketing for. I was volunteering by doing marketing for it, and Josh was there serving wines to people. Like the guy was starting his career, and 12 years later, he's renting out like luxury rooftop clubs in Manhattan, and so many top industry people are coming to celebrate his birthday. And to me, it's like, it's so inspiring. It really is, because he stayed in New York. He said, "I'm going to stay in New York." Like a lot of people, they go between LA and New York, and they cultivate networks in multiple cities. Josh has largely operated in New York. And I think that's really smart, because as someone who travels, what I discover is that I will go to a city, I will make a social circle there, and then I'll leave. And then I'll have to make a social circle in another city. And it's so much stronger when you stay in a city. Your network becomes so much more dense, and people like you more, and you have so much more top of mind awareness with people. I think it's a lot more powerful. I like how relentless Josh has been about pursuing having great people in his life and being a great person himself, being super responsive to everybody, and just a really nice person. For me to see how far he's come over the years, honestly, incredible. It's so cool. It's so cool to watch. I like hearing stories like this. I like hearing come up stories. Someone starts their career, they keep with it for a decade. Amazing things happen. And then I like hearing these like insider stories of parties that I wasn't at that sounds cool. And like this party, this is one that I was at, and I'm able to tell all of you about it. And it was cool. All these people were in close proximity of each other. I met awesome people, industry people. Everyone was in entertainment, and everyone there knew Josh and loved Josh. And like every year, his parties have increased in size. So just to be able to see that and to be part of that, to me, it's awesome. It shows like just be consistent. If you're consistent for years, you won't fail, especially if you're vocal. The other thing I talk about this often is like you gotta be vocal. So if you are consistent for years and you are vocal and you're not a jerk, you are going to build up a huge network of people who love you, who you have top of mind awareness with, and that network will compound. I talk about this essay a lot. Paul Graham, he wrote this essay, How to Do Great Work. Really good essay. And one of the things that he says is if people realized how audience compounds, how fans, how audience compounds, they would invest more time into developing it. But most people don't realize that. Josh realized it, and it shows. I realize it, which is why I make a podcast a day, a video a day, a newsletter a week. This is a crazy day, by the way. I've done 3 Pomodoro sessions so far. I count a Pomodoro session as 2 hours of focused work, 25-minute sections, 4 25-minute sections broken up by 3 to 5 minute breaks. And that's one Pomodoro session. That's how I define it. And then some people define the Pomodoro session as just a 25-minute section. I define it as a 2-hour block. So I've done like 6 hours of focused work today, and it's a wild day. I have another 2 hours left. So this is at the end of my 3rd Pomodoro, and I'm putting in the work into developing an audience, because I only realized in the last year, this stuff compounds. It really does, and I'm seeing this myself. I see this myself. When, like, I had someone on TikTok tell me recently that I'm famous, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that, but at the same time, I get recognized sometimes. I think I talked about that on another episode, which is so wild to me. It's so wild, but it compounds. I had a friend. I have a friend. I'm not going to say his name, and he's getting kind of big on TikTok, posting dating content. And he was posting every day. He posted every day for a couple of weeks, and his videos were doing really well. And then he stopped for a couple of days. He stopped posting for a couple of days. And his videos, now he's resumed posting. His videos have completely fallen off in views. Before they were getting several 100,000 views per video. Now they're getting in the low tens of thousands of views per video. And I don't think there's a huge discernible decrease in quality, but I think it's the fact that he stopped posting every day. And that had some effects with the algorithm, but also some people just forgot really fast. Attention spans are low. You got to be consistent for a long time to develop like real top of mind awareness, to develop real authority, to develop real audience. And that's what I realized myself. That's why I'm like going so hard doing this. And it's cool when I see the other thing is too, like, look, breaks are okay. I don't want to demoralize anybody who's listening. Breaks are okay. The important thing is that you stick around for years. That's what most people aren't willing to do. Is that you stick around for years. That's what my friend Josh has done. And that's why his party was a huge success. Huge success. And why I'm making this episode about it, why I'm giving him a shout, why I'm so grateful to have been invited and to be his friend and have met him 12 years ago. And yeah, I hope anybody listening, like if you're working on something, just don't stop. Tell other people about it and don't stop and stick with it for years. I saw a Reddit post. It was at the top of Reddit today about it's called the long cut. Everybody looks for shortcuts. Everybody looks for shortcuts, but you should just be like sticking with the long cut, because all the time that you spend looking for shortcuts, if you had just spent that time and energy on the long cut, you'd be way better off. And people waste their time looking for shortcuts. Just stick with the long cut. And I think that's so apt. So apt. It was at the top of the entrepreneur subreddit. Long cut. That's what Josh has. That's what I'm getting. It's the long cut. Oh my gosh, most powerful thing. So I hope you find the long cut. I hope you have incredible birthday parties and achieve your dreams. This is episode 66 of the Edward Show. It is it's a Saturday afternoon here in New York. Raining. There's thunder. I've had a lot of coffee, and I'm gonna make a TikTok after this. Feeling pretty nice. Feeling pretty chill. What a cool birthday party that I got to go to. A very cool, very different, because I spent so much time in these cities, random cities in Europe, where my networks there are very small, and then to come back to New York and to be able to go to these like big parties with these big people and these big personalities, it's very different than what I've been used to over the last couple of years. And that's why I love stuff like this. It wasn't something that was for, like, this was very common when I was living here before leaving the United States in April of 2019. I was going to these all the time, but over the last 4 years, it stopped being as common. So it was nice to do this again. And if you like hearing stories like this, let me know. I like sharing them. I think I like hearing them myself. So that's why I'm sharing this. Anyway, all right, 66 of the Edward Show. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.